5 minutes.
Gentleman from Iowa is recognized for 5 minutes.
I thank the gentlelady for yielding this time, and appreciate very much the privilege to address you, Mr. Speaker, and the message that's coming at least from our side of the aisle. I'd take us back to how do we identify this enemy that we are fighting. So I look back through some of the history. In 1783, we made peace with Great Britain. The Revolutionary War, for combat purposes, was over. 1784, American merchant marines were being attacked in the Mediterranean by Barbary pirates. And in 1786, two diplomats, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, went over there to meet with them, and their idea was, we'll be able to talk them into peace. Well, they talked to them all right, and the representative of the Barbary pirates, Mr. Sidi Haji Abdul Rahman Ajah, responded to them, and this is in the congressional record from Thomas Jefferson's report. They asked him, why do you fight us? Why do you attack us? Why do you kill us? We've done nothing hostile towards you. His answer was, it's founded on the laws of our prophet. It was written in the Quran. All nations who should not have acknowledged their authority were sinners, that it was their right and duty to make war upon them wherever they could be found, and to make slaves of all they could not take as prisoners, and that every Muslim who should be slain in battle was sure to go to paradise. I take you back to today. We call our Marines leathernecks. The reason for that is they wore a heavy leather collar to diminish the odds that they would be beheaded by this enemy who has, to this day, at least fairly recently, still beheading Marines. That's how this started. Now, we're in a war. Von Clausewitz wrote that the object of war is to destroy the enemy's will and ability to conduct war. That means take away their munitions, take care of their armies, destroy them if you can. But in the end, whatever you might do doesn't break their will. You have to destroy their will. There's nothing going on this side of the aisle that's diminishing the will of our enemy. And I will tell you, they will interpret it as encouraging the will of the enemy. And I would point out this quote from Muqtada al-Sadr. I heard this over Al Jazeera TV when I was in the Middle East, actually in Kuwait City, waiting to go into Iraq the following morning, June 11th, 2004. He said, if we keep attacking Americans, they will leave Iraq the same way they left Vietnam, the same way they left Lebanon, the same way they left Mogadishu. June 11th. Where does he get this from? Well, he gets part of it from General Giap's book in Vietnam, the successful general there. They understand, as I heard to my own shock and sorrow, a World War II veteran said to me on one of the days we were honoring him, we haven't really won a war since World War II. Think about what that means. Think about what that means to our enemies who are encouraged by this kind of debate and this kind of behavior. We must have the resolve. I'd point out also our casualties. We've lost 2,534 brave, patriotic Americans into hostile action. We've lost 591 to accidents within that theater. And the loss in American lives as the price to be ready between Desert Storm 1 and the beginnings of Operation Iraqi Freedom. That 10 years was a little over 5,000, averaging 505 a year. There's a price to be ready. And they pay that price, and those lost lives are every bit as precious to us. I listened to the debate over on this side of the aisle. A brave American former admiral from Pennsylvania stated that he believes his job now is to come in and help manage a successful conclusion to the war. Well, I want to compliment Judge Louis Gohmert, who had the urge from the bench to legislate from the bench and realized my constitutional responsibility if I want to legislate is run for Congress. So now we have Representative Gohmert in Congress actually legislating instead of legislating from the bench. And I would submit my question to the gentleman from Pennsylvania. If you really think your job is to come here and micromanage the war, do you really think that's constitutional? And regardless of that question, do you think it's wise? How would you like it if Congress made a decision that you really only needed one destroyer in your task force, or you get along without the submarine, or maybe you only need half the supplies on your supply ship? That would be micromanagement that I think he would raise a powerful objection to. And so I would point out that here on the floor of this Congress, when we had Nouri al-Maliki, the Prime Minister of Iraq, speaking from that very podium behind me, July 26, 2006, short half a year ago. He said, "The fate of our country and yours is tied. Should democracy be allowed to fail in Iraq and terror permitted to triumph, then the war on terror will never be won elsewhere." I thank you, and I yield back.